was a draftee, but I knew what I wanted to, what part of the service I wanted to enter. So when I arrived in San Francisco and they sent us to Monterey, and I was interviewed to be assigned, I told the interviewer, I'm volunteering to be a paratrooper. And he said, "You're what?" And I said, "I'm volunteering to be a paratrooper." So I had to sit around in Monterey for 11 days before we got 3 other guys to go to Toccoa, Georgia. Toccoa, Georgia was at that time a new airborne training camp. We took our basic and jump school training there. We didn't do any jumping. There wasn't any towers. We had mock-up towers, mock-up planes, and stuff like that. After our training there at Toccoa, the 1st Battalion took the train all the way to Fort Benning. 2nd Battalion marched to Atlanta, Georgia, and then got the train to Fort Benning, but the 3rd Battalion had to do one better. It took us to Atlanta, Georgia, marched us all the way to Fort Benning, 138 miles in 3 days. We broke the Japanese force march record. The reason why I become a paratrooper, when I told my mother this, she shook her head. I said, they're the best trained fighters in the Army. They're well trained, and when you jump out of a plane, you're going to be surrounded because you're going to drop you in behind the lines. So you better be a good fighter, and you better train well, or you're not going to survive. Now, I jumped in Normandy on D-Day. I landed in water. Well, the Troop Carrier Command, when the ack fire started, they took evasive actions, and they dropped us all over Normandy. We didn't even know where we were at. I landed in a flooded field, waist deep, soaked to the gills, loaded down with, I weighed 138 pounds before I boarded the plane with all of my equipment. By the time they pushed me into the airplane, I weighed 250 pounds. We had to carry extra ammunition, extra mortar rounds, everything for the other people that couldn't carry it, and plus bandoliers of ammunition. When I jumped in Normandy, I made corporal in England, and 5 days into Normandy, I was promoted to sergeant. We were about a month and 2 or 3 days in Normandy. We were supposed to only be there 5 days, but they used us for the shock troops. We had to go and help the other people fight their battles. We went back to England, got our replacements, start training again, and September 17th, we jumped into Holland. The Holland jump was a good jump because it was a day jump. The Normandy jump was a night jump, 1 o'clock in the morning. You didn't know if your parachute was open or if it wasn't. Holland was a beautiful jump. Not much fire or anything else. The Troop Carrier Command did a wonderful job. I think they were scared not to do it because the 82nd was going to throw hand grenades up in the cockpit. They threatened them in Normandy because Sicily, when the 82nd jumped in Sicily, they were dropped all over. And a lot of the planes got shot down by our own Navy in Sicily. But anyway, let's get back to my deal. We spent 72 days in Holland, Montgomery's fiasco. If you watch one bridge too far, you'll find out that Montgomery wasn't prepared for that mission, but he was going to be a big shot and kill a lot of Englishmen doing it. What used to burn us up was at 10 o'clock in the morning, the English would be moving up, they'd stop, pull out their little stoves, start their fires, get their tea and their trumpets, and we used to tell them, "What are you guys doing here? Your troopers are getting killed up there. We got to have this." And this went on in the afternoon to 2 o'clock. And Montgomery would take all our good rations and give us English rations. So he wasn't too popular with Americans. We come back from Holland down to Marmelon, France. I had a furlough to Paris, come back. Just after I got back, Battle of the Bulge started. We woke up in the morning about 2 in the morning, says, grab everything, go to the orderly shack, get a rifle. We didn't even know whose rifle we were getting. So then we loaded us on these big cattle trucks all day long, drove us up to Belgium. We get up to Belgium and start towards Bastogne, and here's all the soldiers running the other way. I said, where are you guys going? He says, you guys are going the wrong way. The Germans are coming. So we had a big ammunition, hand grenades, and everything we could get from them. So we no sooner get into Bastogne and we're surrounded. But when the two Germans come and ask us to surrender, McAuliffe says, why should we surrender? He says, you're surrounded, we're going to annihilate you. He says, that's what we fight the best, when we're surrounded. We come out of Bastogne. By the time at Bastogne, I was promoted to platoon sergeant. Come back to Genève, France, and there we're reorganized, and we board ducks. You know what the ducks are? We go all the way down through France, through southern Germany, up to Austria, up to Berchtesgaden. There we took Hitler's Berchtesgaden. I didn't get up to the Eagle's Nest. The 1st Battalion got up to the Eagle's Nest. But these are the jump jackets we used to wear, jumped into Normandy. After Normandy, the 82nd used them until Normandy. And we used them in Normandy. And after Normandy, they took them away from us. They said, no more jump jackets. You're going to wear regular Army combat clothes. So I sold all my stuff. But then last year, I was invited to go to Normandy, Holland, and Bastogne. And the people in Normandy and Holland, you can't believe these people. They come out for you, they have parties and everything else. The little kids that are thanking you for saving them. Well, they weren't even born at the time. But the parents, after the war, I mean, we stayed in Austria for a while, and then I got sent to the cigarette camp. I had enough points to come home, so. You know the cigarette camps?
Yeah,
They're marble around in France. Yeah.
I was guarding the German POWs there.
Yeah.
We were doing our
Lucky Strike, Chesterfield, Camel. That's where they shipped us out through the Mediterranean. That Mediterranean's a bad sea. That's the closest I ever come to get. I rode all over in an airplane, never got seasick, but that Mediterranean almost got me, I'll tell you. And I want to thank you people for coming tonight.